Hello everyone. So as a reminder, tomorrow is exam 5. It will be open from 12:30 to 11:59, and then this time there's two parts. So exam 5, like part 1, which will be an hour, so 80 minutes, and then part 2, I think I gave 30 minutes. Right? Remember, when you're done with, you can take either part first, it doesn't matter, but once you're done with a part, so for example, if you finished at I don't know, at 150, you have to turn in at 205. All right? And before you start on to the next part of the exam, I know the last couple exams, so I did it because I know that the online formatting can be different. But for the last exam, you will only have one try per part. Right? The reason why, so your final is going to be one try. So I just thought it'd be better to just make this one try now that you guys have had two online exams already. All right. So for this exam, so I just noticed some things when I graded the last two, and I just kind of wanted to clarify some things. So for example, find the midpoint of the line segment between the two given points, and then write your answer in simplest form. So for example, let's say that this was number 1. Right. So first of all, remember we want this one right here. We want it to the left of the red margins, right? And then you can just put a midpoint, okay? And then instead of writing like -7, 7 and 5, -5, you can do that, or you can actually just label it right away and then put like x1, y1 over here, x2, y2, or you can label it right away and just put, say, x1, y1 is -7, 7, and then you can say x2, y2 is equal to 5, -5. Right? I do want you to write the general equation, so I want you to say m is equal to x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. If you don't, you will lose a point. All right? So that is just the comment I want to make for this one. And then let's see. All right. And say we got a question like this, so say that this was your second question. Right? It says the domain of a one-to-one function is the same as the blank of its inverse. So this is a concept question. You don't have to rewrite the question. I think that's just a waste of time. So you can just you can either say concept question, or if you want to abbreviate to save time, you can just tell me CQ. All right? So, and you don't need to write the answer. However, if you see a concept question like this one's a little different. All right, say that it's, I don't know, number 3. Okay, it says how many points of intersection are possible between two distinct parabolas. So I would still say this is a concept question, all right? But what the difference I want you to do is, since there's two distinct parabolas and I want you to find the points of intersection, I want you to draw it for me. And so what does distinct mean? To remind you, distinct means two different parabolas. So it's not like two parabolas on top of each other, right? So it's two different ones. So it'd be like this or this, right? There's yeah. So there's like this, or I don't know, like that. Okay, there's multiple ways. So you really don't have to do this, I guess. Like you don't have to draw the multiple ways a parabola can, two distinct parabolas can intersect. But I do want you to draw. So if it says two distinct parabolas, I do want you to draw me two parabolas. If you were told a parabola and a line, I want you to draw this and then this. Okay, you can draw the graph separately just to say this is the parabola, this is the line, or you can just draw it like this, right? It doesn't matter. But I do want to see pictures so that I know that you know what the figures should look like. All right? And then you'll see a question like this. Okay? So you don't have to draw the graph, all right? But one thing I do want you to do, so let's say this is number 4, you can say from graph. Okay? And then I want you to tell me the center and the radius. Right? Again, I do want you to write the general equation of the circle. So it'd be x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared is equal to r squared. Right? And then you tell me what the answer would be. Right? And then for this question, you don't have to draw the graph. The one thing I do want is, so you still need to write b times a of -4, right? And then you do have to tell me how I could rewrite this. So just remember your algebra functions. So this would be b of 4, or -4, times, okay, remember that's closed because this is not the same as this, right? This is multiplication, this is a composition. Okay, this would be times a of -4, right? And then you'll just tell me, like, so b of -4 is 4, and then a of -4 is -2, right? And then this is -8. All right, so I still want you to do this. I still want to see your steps. All right, but you don't have to take the time to redraw the graph. The last example I want to talk about is when you see a logarithmic function. So when you do like when you have these functions, so number 7, and it says evaluate. Okay, you'll have log base 4 of 4 plus log base 5 of 1, right? So what I want you to do here, so when you solve these logarithms, you have to tell me which property this is, right? So this would be 1 plus 0, right? And then when you so if you apply if you apply multiple properties, I want you to go from left to right. So for here, this would be property 2 and 1, right? If you tell me property 1 and 2, this is wrong because what you're telling me is that you apply property 1 to the first term and a property 2 on the second term, but that's not true because they don't correlate, right? So you do have to tell me the order of them. Baby Yoda, right? So I would definitely have this handy, all right? So even if you were told like to expand a logarithm or condense a log, like even if you had like 5 log of 6 plus 7 log of 8, for example, and you tell me, I'm going to go right here, you tell me this is log 6 fifth plus log 8 to the 7th, you have to tell me this is property 7. Okay, you don't have to write out power property. That's just too much work. Okay, but as long, just tell me 7. All right. But yeah, you don't have to write it twice because you applied the same property to both. One last thing I want to say, so you'll see logarithms and you'll see natural logarithms. But if you carefully compare these two figures, you'll notice that they're essentially the same, except for this one has the log base b, and then natural log, remember natural log of x is the same as natural log base e of x, right? So even if you're dealing with natural logarithms, you can just still tell me 1 through 7, all right? Before ending this video, I wanted to give you guys one more opportunity for extra credit. It's going to be due on the last day of class, so Thursday at 11:59 p.m. And the assignment is to find the inverse of f of x equals 5 to the x minus 3. Once you find the inverse, I want you to confirm that f of x and f inverse of x are actually inverses. And this is worth 10 points. Right? So if you have any questions about anything, please let me know. If not, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.